Hi, Beth. Nice of you to join us. Get started in a moment. Okay, thank you. Hello, all, and welcome to our first Facebook Live of School Rights Scoop. My name is Taylor Burns, and I am a staff attorney with Advocates for Basic Legal Equality. Today, I will be discussing services and supports for students with disabilities during the COVID-19 school closure. Before we get started, we do have a few ground rules. First, if you have a general question, you may put it in the comment box. I will try to answer as many general questions as I can. Please do not ask specific questions about your specific situation. I will not be able to answer questions specific to you and your child. Second, this is a general legal information about special education law in Ohio only. It is not legal advice, and you should be aware that information regarding the new laws, legislation, and interpretation continues to change. The information we are providing is current as of today, April 17th, 2020. Third, I am not your attorney, but you may need help from an attorney. Finally, there is a link in the comments with a map of ABLE's service area. If you live in one of the highlighted counties, you may apply for help by calling our legal aid line at 888-534-1432, or you may apply online at legalaidline.org. So while I will focus on the education of students with disabilities today, I think the first question on every parent's mind is whether their child's school has to provide any educational services during the COVID-19 school closure. At this point, with the school closure extended to May 1st, schools in Ohio should be providing educational services to all students, but these services may look different. Traditional public schools, career technical schools, and community schools, what we often call charter schools, must teach a minimum number of hours under Ohio law each year. For the 2019-2020 school year, missed hours of teaching because of the COVID-19 school closure can be made up using lesson plans posted on the school's website. Ohio law and guidance does not have specific requirements about what those lessons should look like during the school closure, so school districts have taken a variety of approaches, from blizzard bags or paper learning packets to online learning. Whatever the chosen approach, all schools should be making sure that all students have access to required learning materials and technologies. For those of you just joining us, my name is Taylor Burns, and I'm a staff attorney with Advocates for Basic Legal Equality. We're doing a school rights scoop about special education services and supports during the COVID-19 closure. This is general legal information about special education law in Ohio only. It is not legal advice. We will be answering some general questions that you put in the comments. If you have questions about your specific situation, you may apply for help by calling our legal aid line at 888-534-1432, or you may apply online at legalaidline.org. Now, I want to take a moment to talk about the school districts that have chosen to use online learning during the school closure. Schools making online learning available must make a good faith effort to make sure students with disabilities have a computer and internet access. The Ohio Department of Education has given this direction to school districts, and districts should listen to the Ohio Department of Education. If a student with a disability cannot access the online learning, schools can and should provide a laptop, Chromebook, tablet, or other device and/or Wi-Fi or a hotspot to provide internet access as needed. Some schools are working with local internet providers to connect homes to the internet free of charge during the COVID-19 school closure. However, a word of caution. While these services have been advertised to be free of charge during the COVID-19 school closure, we are not aware of what, if any, fees may be charged to a household when the closure is over or at the end of the school year. Parents should carefully review any service agreements or contracts and ask further questions of the internet provider to determine potential or future charges. Regardless of the method of distance learning, if a student has a disability or has a 504 plan or an IEP, and their school district is making educational services or learning available to general education students, The district must make learning available to that student and other students with disabilities. In other words, the special education supports, services, and accommodations listed in each child's IEP or 504 plan must be provided to the extent practicable. So we did get a question. The question says, I asked my child's school to provide a laptop or a Chromebook, but they want to charge me a fee to take it home. Can they? So generally, if you have a child, with a disability and that child requires assistive technology, a computer device, um, they cannot charge you to take that device home. So schools have to provide a FAPE. That's a free and appropriate public education, but you'll often hear schools call it a FAPE. The key part of FAPE is the free word, meaning that schools cannot charge if that device is necessary to ensure that child can learn and if it's needed by reason of that child's disability. Okay, so I want to get back to the IEP and 504 plan and the services being provided to the extent practicable during the school closure. So what does that look like? Schools should work closely with parents to identify each child's unique needs and how to best meet those needs during the closure. This means that schools should not just issue prior written notice to parents stating that every student with a disability will receive X, Y, and Z or a certain type of support during the school closure. This determination must still be individualized. There are numerous ways to meet a child's unique needs. But we've created an FAQ sheet with some examples of potential supports and services that a child may need. Below, you can find a link to that FAQ in the comments, and I'll go through a few of these examples. So first, a student may need regular one-on-one or small group lessons with the teacher or intervention specialist by phone or video. If a child requires specially designed instruction under the IEP, this instruction should be regularly scheduled. Infrequent or irregularly scheduled calls or check-ins may lack the structure and content needed for the child to make progress. A phone or video support for the parents may also be needed for the child to make progress. Most parents have not formally taught before, and it is okay to need guidance on how to instruct their child or even guidance on the curriculum itself. We do have new math after all. Further, some parents may need support as they figure out how to implement a behavior intervention plan at home, or parents may need support as they figure out how to track their child's progress at home. Another example, a parent may request regular phone or video appointments with their child's counselor, speech therapist, physical therapist, or occupational therapist. These are called related service providers. And if a child receives related services under their IEP, they should continue to receive that service during the COVID-19 school closure. Extra practice to do at home from your child's counselor or therapist may also be needed. For any of you that have gone through physical therapy, you may recall the practice sheets sent home to help you keep track of exercises. Related service providers at schools can also provide additional assignments to students during the school closure to keep them on track. If a student was receiving accommodations at school, those same accommodations can and should be provided at home. Check the student's IEP or 504 plan for the accommodations that have been provided at school. Our FAQ has examples of some of the most common types of accommodations. Finally, a parent may request tools or assistive technology for their child to use at home, such as a laptop, tablet, hotspot, or jetpack for internet access. Even if the school district is not providing online learning during the school closure, a student's unique needs as a result of their disability may require the school to provide assistive technology. And as we discussed in response to the question earlier, that is FAPE, a free and appropriate public education, so providing that assistive technology free of charge. Parents can look at the IEP and talk to their children to determine whether the child had access to assistive technology during the school day prior to the closure. So with some of these examples in mind, we have created a template letter that you can use to ask your child's school district for what your child needs during the COVID-19 school closure. See the link in the comments below for that template letter. You can download, fill in either email or mail to the school. We recommend making any request in writing and keeping a copy for yourself, even if that copy is simply a photo of the letter on your phone. So it looks like we have another question here. I've asked my child's school to provide more support during the school closure and they said no. What can I do? So make sure that request is made in writing. Again, we want to make sure all requests are made in writing, and that the school's response is documented. The Ohio Department of Education has various dispute resolution mechanisms, is what they call them. We have state complaints, mediation, due process. Those are all processes through the Ohio Department of Education that can help resolve special education disputes between parents and schools. I'd recommend checking out ODE's website for that. If you still cannot resolve the dispute, or if you want additional assistance, you should apply for legal help through the legal aid line. Again, you can call us at 888-534-1432 or online at legalaidline.org. All right, thank you for tuning in. Again, some of the information, oh, sorry, it looks like we have one more question. What if a parent is concerned their child isn't making progress? Can a child get help over the summer? That's actually going to be the focus of our next discussion, but I'll get into that a little bit here. If you're concerned that your child isn't making progress, the first thing I would do is request an IEP meeting, services, request additional services as we recommended here today. If you cannot get the additional services or you do not believe that those are assisting your child, make sure that you document the progress or lack thereof. Ask for progress reports until the child left school, which was likely March 13th, to see where they were when they left school and see where they are now. I always also recommend tracking any services your child is being provided. So if they spent time talking to a speech therapist or talking to their intervention specialist, record who it was they spoke with and how long they spoke with that person. And try to track your child's progress. See, if they had a math goal and they're falling behind in math, track that to the best of your abilities. And so if a child has regressed or is not making progress, you can ask for either compensatory education or extended school year. There are two different types of services. There's different standards for each, but those are two things that a parent should be considering as a result of the COVID-19 school closure. All right, thank you again for tuning in. Again, some of the information I provided today can be found in a link to the FAQ sheet in the comments. On our next edition of School Rights Scoop, we'll be discussing what to do if you believe that your child is not receiving enough support to keep up during the COVID-19 school closure. We'll be going live again. Please join us then. Thank you.